The missing persons ones always break my heart.
I know.
They break into a million. Like,
It's, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Hi, Jillian Bezavali.
Hello, Patrick Hines.
Hey, fam, if you're listening to this the night it comes out, Seattle, we will see you tomorrow night at the Neptune. Look, we are going crazy. I've a couple of shows now. I've done a little strip tease with my jacket.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, my God. Portland, I'm coming to my sold-out show on Thursday the 10th. Then TCO is in LA at the Palace on Friday the 11th. Then August 26th in New York City, we are making our town hall debut.
Yes.
1,500 people, Broadway dancers. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be fun.
And then, fam, we're doing our final show at Obsessed Fest.
Yes.
It is that time of year. You got to come and see us. It's a weekend of your true crime best friends.
Yeah.
You're meeting people. You're seeing people like Bob Ruff and you and me and Ellen and Joey and Rabia.
Yeah,
and
Maggie Freeling and Amber and Daisy, just everybody.
Everybody from the Wine and Crime Girls, the Generation Y guys,
The
Tim and
Sinisterhood
Lance.
ladies.
Sinisterhood, they're from Dallas, so they're doing their live podcast taping
Fun.
all about the JFK assassination.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be so good. ObsessedFest.com, 2 live shows. We're doing a thing called the Garbage Ball on Saturday night where we're like getting together and like doing like a big prom. And then you got your Taylor Swift sing-along. Ellen and Joey are doing the karaoke.
Wonderful.
We're doing a thing with Janet Varney from Bob's podcast.
Yes.
We're doing like a, what do you call it? A improv game.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're
and
not, please, that's not how improv works, but sure.
You just know Andy me. The Broadway dancers are teaching a dance class.
Oh,
on
yes, I
Saturday
know.
morning, they're teaching a dance class.
I know.
I'm so excited.
I love Janet. I'm excited she's coming for
I'm excited the
Obsessed
Broadway
Fest.
dancers are going to be there.
That too.
Oh, my God. All right, girl, what are we talking about today?
This is an episode of 48 Hours. It's called Searching for Maya Millete. We got a lot going on, but most importantly, the 48 Hours theme still stresses me out. And I know that's the point.
Yeah.
But it stresses me out every time.
The family was well aware this marriage was not working out. He went on the internet, found a website that does witchcraft, casts spells. He bought one of the spells.
I don't even know how to make this out, so I need your help.
This is the spell that he casts on Maya, and that's blood that's on there. He created the witchcraft altar, and he puts down the picture of himself and Maya.
He wrote, "Can you hex to have her hurt enough that she will have to depend on me? Maybe an accident or a broken bone."
That's really hard to hear.
What kind of person do you believe Larry is?
Very damaged person.
Do you think Maya left that house on her own?
No.
I gotta say, now that we're getting to do 48 hours, I like the structure of it. Like, we do 2020s, we do Datelines. I like them all, but I'm into the 48 hours.
Why? I love that you do, but I'm just curious what's
really
different for you.
It's kind of sometimes just the facts, ma'am, which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
no like Keith Morrison editorializing.
Hey, watch it.
I love Keith. We learn at the time of the reporting, so like at the time they're making the episode, it's been a year since Maya Millete went missing from Chula Vista, California.
Yeah. So Jonathan is our reporter for this.
He's so cute.
He's
I'm
very
sorry.
cute.
He's very handsome.
And he's also very like present emotionally.
Which I appreciate.
This must have been a very hard. I mean, I think they're all hard, but you could tell that he was trying to be professional, but also not try to be like a cold robot. Like let the family know that he's feeling for them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Well, because Mary Chris, her sister, is here.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's like one of our main narrators. Her husband Richard too. Like
they're amazing.
They're the kind of people that like I just want to be in their family.
Yeah.
And they're very emotionally available, and they tell this story so well.
The strength of Mary Chris, especially.
I
My
know.
God.
And like there are definitely times that like the reporter and like the family are all crying together, you know?
Well, our victim here is Maya May Millete. She is our victim. She has been missing for over a year. She's a mother of 3, and she's married to Larry, who we all hate.
Yes. We learned that Maya came to the United States when she was 13. She emigrated from the Philippines with her family. She's got 5 siblings. It was 1995 when they arrived. They moved to Honolulu.
Yeah. And
nailing it, Millete family.
So she grew up and like lived in Hawaii.
Yeah, she was like outgoing and outdoorsy and great at school.
Super smart.
She's got like a gorgeous voice.
Yeah. She's a singer-songwriter. And we like hear some of her music. And so she met Larry at work when they were 18 years old.
They worked at a fast food joint together.
They're 18.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Larry's family had also immigrated from the Philippines. When Larry turned 18 and joined the Navy, the couple decided to get married.
They were so young.
Yeah.
Teenagers.
Yeah.
Larry joins the Navy at 18, and that's when the two of them get married.
And I just was like, oh my God. I mean, my sister also got married right when she joined the military.
Really?
Marriage didn't last very long.
Well-
but people tend to do that so they can like stay together.
Yeah.
Maya goes to work for the Navy as well. And so I guess like they want to be stationed together or whatever. Like
Yeah.
the getting married young part makes sense in situations like this.
I just always feel a little pang of like, oh no,
I know,
when that
I
happens
know.
because 18, the person I was at 18 is a completely different person. I don't even know her.
I know. We've been talking about this a lot. Like people who grow and like I feel like Steve and I have grown together in our
Yeah.
marriage. Like the person I was 15 years ago when I met him is not at all the person I am now.
No.
And it's been a lovely journey of growing together. And those are the marriages that work for whatever reason. I'm not saying we worked harder or did whatever.
No.
It just worked.
Yeah.
And the marriages that don't survive are the ones where they grow apart.
And it's just hard, like who you are, even at 10 years later,
Yeah.
from 18 to 28, like you can be such a different person. So that I think that's why, like when Maya's family was so shocked,
Yeah.
I think that's why, because it's like, I don't know if you even know 100% who you are yet.
I
And now you're
know.
going to like settle down with someone.
And it's also okay to say, like, we also kind of thought this guy was a piece of shit because guess what? You're right.
Guess what? They're fucking right.
You know?
But they, that's the other thing. You don't want to like scare your loved one away.
Totally.
So they were shocked, but they supported her.
And they say that throughout. Like they just loved and supported
Yeah.
Maya. I'm sure that was the same for all the kids.
Sure.
And they like no matter what the choice was, as long as you weren't hurting yourself, I'm sure like their family had your back.
Right.
So Maya and Larry moved to Southern California. I'm jealous. There's a part of me that really thinks I missed out on not moving to Southern California.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can see you.
You know what I mean?
I can see you there for like a week and then you'd be over it and want to go home.
It's a little hot.
It's
Not enough
like
buildings.
a lot of sand.
Yeah.
Right? Or am I wrong?
No.
Okay, who knows?
The first time I run into like Kira Sedgwick at a Starbucks, I'd be psyched.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Worth it.
Totally.
Totally worth it. They moved to Southern California. They both have careers in the Navy.
Yeah.
Larry was an optician
Is
at
that
the.
like an eye doctor?
I think so. Or maybe
Okay.
you work at the. I'm sorry. I'm going to sound like an idiot.
Or is
I'm
that an obstetrician? What's an
No, an
obstetrician?
that's like an OBGYN.
They do like baby stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh my God. I was going to say, do they?
Knock it off, private school, all right?
Well, what I was going to ask is, and I feel like everyone's going to like make fun of me, but is the optician the one that works at the store where you get your eyeglasses?
I don't know. I'm an eyeglasses wearer, but I don't know the jobs.
Okay, well, Maya was the supervisor contract specialist.
Well, and Maya was like fucking amazing at her job. We meet Claudia and Allison, her like work
Her
besties.
coworkers, yeah.
And they're like, we were all women working together. Maya was a super inspiration. She negotiated contracts for the Navy. She was amazing at it. Everyone looked up to her. Everyone wanted to be a role model. Claudia's like, because of Maya, there was no glass ceiling.
Yes.
Women in our office could do anything.
Yes, all of that is incredible. What is also incredible is that she also had a photographic memory.
Really?
And I'm saying this like not like what can't she
I
do?
know, I know.
Like she's a singer-songwriter, she's doing good work.
Oh, and she's like gorgeous.
And she's gorgeous and she's funny and like she's just got everything and it's like a photographic memory.
What does that mean, a photographic memory?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of like miseducation at Lauryn Hill. No, there's a lot of misinformation about what
it is.
what it actually is.
'Cause
I don't have it, so I don't know.
It's like if you're 9 feet tall, you're wasting your life if you're not a basketball player. I feel like if you have a photographic memory, you're wasting your life if you're not like a Shakespearean actor. You know what I mean? To me or not to me?
Yeah.
That is the question.
Well, you have to like understand what the text means,
I know.
though, so you can memorize it.
So now you're calling me stupid.
I'm not. I'm too scared of Shakespeare. Which,
I know.
Like that's just
I
I'm
know.
scared of it.
You know what though? I blame it. I blame the public school system, which you did not attend on that.
Right, but if I'm scared of Shakespeare too.
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
it's probably also not good at private schools.
So 10 years into their marriage, they start a family.
The couple eventually welcomed 2 daughters and a son.
What kind of mother was she?
Very caring, loving mother. She hands-on. She's always teaching them something, especially, music.
Maya loved her family. And we get everyone saying, like, not only did she love being a mom, but she liked being around her kids. Like, she liked the hard stuff. She liked all of it.
That's why I say, like, these episodes break my fucking heart.
I know.
The thing that is so crazy, these crazy narcissists, is that the right word? I don't
Sure,
know.
yeah.
These people who, like, kill their spouse because they're obsessed with them and
Yeah.
the spouse wants to leave, and they've got kids, and they instantly orphan their fucking children.
I know.
will never understand it.
I know. And we hear, like, someone says, like, to be fair, Larry was also pretty attentive. And I just have in my notes, whatever.
Who cares?
Like, we hate
Nice
him.
things about him
We
now.
hate
Oh my
him.
God. Yeah.
What? And like Mary Chris hated him on sight. Like
I
I'm
know.
on her side of everything. And like, oh, come on. I don't care that he was attentive sometimes. Shut up.
I gotta tell you, Mary Chris, the sister, her husband Richard is so awesome.
Awesome.
Like I feel like they are just, like when you're like, you don't have siblings, so maybe you don't know this as well. But like my siblings, like each of them have had like one partner that they've dated that I really liked.
Okay.
And it's such a breath of fresh air because when you're like have a sibling that have spouses that suck or like boyfriends, girlfriends that suck or whatever. So like when Mary Chris brought Richard home, everyone must have been like, oh,
awesome.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What a great guy.
I've had friends where I felt that like, oh God, when are they going to get rid of this one?
I know.
And then I've had the like, oh, yay, they got back together with the one we like,
Yeah, he's that guy for sure.
Exactly.
But, it's January 2021. Maya was planning a ski trip to Big Bear for her daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
But her family grew concerned when she suddenly stopped communicating on January 7th.
For her not to tell us what's going to happen for her daughter's birthday, that was a big deal.
For her not to like go over in detail the plans for her daughter's wedding with us is very, very out of character. That would never have happened.
Yeah, and she had a lot of siblings. They were always talking to each other. They were very close, she and Mary Chris specifically. So like there was a party coming. She'd be saying like, "Oh, so you're coming, right? Oh, so you're bringing this. Oh, so I'll see you later." Like, and that just wasn't happening.
That kind of family.
So JR is her brother.
Yes.
And he actually goes to the house to check on Maya. Like the next day he goes. This family's on top of it immediately.
Yeah, it's like January 7th, they stop communication. January 8th, JR drives to the house to like bang, bang, bang on the door.
So idiot Larry, asshole, terrible person Larry, who's the husband of Maya, opens the door and he's like, oh, hey.
Oh, hey, JR. Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, Maya's in her room not making a single solitary sound. That's not weird at all, right?
I keep thinking, I've run over this scene in my head a million times because Larry tells JR, we had a fight. She doesn't feel good. She's lying down. She's sleeping.
She took to the bed like my Italian grandmother used to do.
Exactly. And I'm kind of like, what would I do in this situation? At first, I was like, I was calling bullshit. Like, JR, go like check on her.
Right.
But then I was thinking, like, my sister Sarah, like, if she was like having a bad day in her room, she would be so annoyed if I came in to like confirm that she was there.
Yeah.
Because the mindset of this, you can't ever imagine that your sibling spouse is going to murder them. No one is thinking
That's the thing. And also, like, I've known people, family or otherwise, who are with someone that everyone else doesn't like.
Yeah.
But like, you're never thinking, well, surely they're a murderer.
Exactly.
It's just like, oh, they're annoying or they're this or they're abrasive, even like in their worst qualities.
You're like, of course they had a fight because this guy fucking sucks.
Right,
I'm going to let my sister like sleep it off. We'll talk about the birthday party tomorrow.
Like the last thing she needs
is
you know
me
what?
barging in.
I know that she's home. It's fine. Like you're never going to go to a million like that, right?
But JR does go to the door and knock on it and gets no response. He doesn't barge in, which again, I'm saying is like, I would do the same thing.
Right. And so the day after that, Sister Mary Chris and her awesome husband go to check on Maya.
When we walked in, the house was a mess, which I've never seen their house messy. And it was cold. It was January, and he had the AC running, which was really odd.
They said it was like 60 degrees out. It's January.
Which is like really, really cold for Southern California.
I know. But this chilled me to the bone because we know eventually that he's killed her.
Yeah.
He is trying to preserve the body.
Oh, God.
I mean, when I watched this a second time and I heard that, it truly gave me chills.
Totally.
To think about, like, oh my, and like the whole time, like the kind of crazy you have to be to keep the body in the house as the family is coming in and out looking for her.
Yeah.
Like how brazen that is.
Yeah. And I think some people might think like, well, how did you not know? Like, how did you not see anything? It's like, no, his red flags were that he was a dick. Yeah. Not that he was this diabolical and ghoulish and creepy, you know?
And Larry tells Mary Chris and Richard that Maya's just gone hiking. And I just wrote this. I wrote, stay stupid, motherfucker.
Right. Because Mary Chris is like, no, she didn't.
No.
No. They know
not that she
immediately.
wouldn't. We see plenty of video of her hiking, but she's not going to like not be returning Mary Chris's phone calls.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then like be asleep, like, and not call her brother and say, hey, sorry, I missed you when you were over to check on me.
I think this is like foreshadowing. I think it's a clue because I think he's trying to think about where he's going to put the body. And maybe he's going to take her phone there and maybe it's going to ping somewhere that she might have gone hiking. I don't know. But I think that he's trying to think 2 steps ahead, but he's an idiot.
Right. So Mary Chris hears the word hiking and she's like, yeah, sure, bye. Yeah. Slams the door and calls the cops immediately to report her sister missing.
Yeah. And like we're told that the cops send 3 officers to the house to question everybody.
Mary, Chris, and Richard were upset with what they say was a lack of concern from the police.
It seemed like there was no urgency for the police department to investigate it properly.
the cops did fucking nothing.
I just don't understand
They
this.
did
Like, I
nothing.
don't get why there's no, or like the idea that like, Larry paints the picture that it's like a happy marriage and everything
Right.
is fine and she's gone hiking or she's run off to start another life because we're going to learn later that she was unhappy and she was going out with her friends. Larry is going to tell everybody
Right.
and she was just
She
going to
was
ditch her
cheating
kids.
left and right. Like, no, she wasn't.
And I just don't understand. It's like, we know that you have such little time in a crime scene to
Right.
get any usable evidence. Why are the cops not doing the bare minimum?
Right, because it's not just like this is coming out of the clear blue sky. You have one side, which is
Right.
her family, saying something horrible has happened. Then you have this doofy idiot husband saying everything's fine.
Yeah.
Don't just like default believe him. Just investigate for 5 minutes.
Because a cop is going to say later that it was a trigger to them later that it was the sister that reported her missing and not the husband. Let that be a red flag. Teach that in cop school.
Yeah, it's they really, really fucked up here.
Yeah.
So now Maya's been missing for 3 days, and it's the day of her daughter's birthday party.
And they say that like the entire family gathers at Maya's house to celebrate the birthday. Everyone says it's horrifying. Mary Chris is like,
We're all like looking at the door, hoping she'll walk in on her daughter's birthday. She never did. I feel so bad. After that, she said, Mommy didn't show up for my birthday. I didn't know how to comfort her.
the daughter says to
God, this
the
is
gathered
like-
family, my mama never showed up for my birthday.
Yeah.
I said, this is excruciating to watch.
And Mary Chris is going through because she's telling the story and she can like barely get through
Keep it
it.
together. I know. I mean, and like the amount of monster as a every single decision I make on a daily basis, I think 3 steps ahead to like how it's going to affect Daisy.
Sure.
The kind of monster you have to be to have killed your children's mother, done whatever you did with the body, and then having the birthday party and letting the daughter think that the mother just never showed up. What a monster.
What a monster. And worse than that, at the birthday party, Larry is like sitting around in his sweatpants and bare
We
feet.
see a picture of it.
He's like leaning up against some like cabinet and he has his arms and legs crossed and he's like in bare feet. He's not concerned about his wife. He's not concerned about his daughter. Like, what a piece of shit this guy
And
is.
Richard is the one that points out, like, there's no urgency here. Like, if that was Steve and it was Daisy's birthday, I'd be like,
You
Jillian,
wouldn't have a party.
throw the party so that Daisy doesn't know what's wrong. I'm going to be
Or that.
out fucking, like, canvassing the neighborhood and, like, traipsing through the woods. I'm not going in the woods, Steve. I
Look,
love you,
let's-
but I'm not going in the
let's
woods.
just- everyone
I will
just
send
relax.
somebody else into the woods. Jillian, you manage the party. I'm going to
Yeah.
find somebody to go into the woods to find Steve.
You'll still be in a panic is the point.
I will check the gay bars.
Right.
Okay? It is happy
And
hour.
like, I'm sorry, no one's that good of an actor. Daisy would say, you know what I
I
mean?
know.
Like,
Yeah.
because we would be so emotional
But
about
also,
it.
it's just like the killers always do this so poorly.
Yeah.
Pretend that you care. Pretend that you're worried. It's going to make you look less guilty.
And just like when Richard, the brother-in-law, says that, and that photo.
I know.
And I know it's not like, do whatever you want in your house. But the idea that like you're not just ready to run out the door to go get
any
her at any
second.
moment.
Yeah.
You're in sweats
Exactly.
and bare feet.
At
like,
least pretend.
and you're hosting her family?
I know.
Like, what are they? Like, they must have been, I'm sorry, they must have been coming through the door a total wreck, right? Like, Mary Chris, and how does he greet her?
I know.
What does he say to
I know.
her?
Well, and it gets worse because this is when friend Claudia, who we met earlier, her
Yeah,
coworker,
she's
this is
awesome.
when Claudia learns
She's the
that
one with
she's
the awesome eye makeup, right?
Yes. She's the one that was like, no glass ceiling with Maya
yeah,
around.
yeah, I love it.
She learns that Maya is missing. She heads over to the house and she says by now the birthday party has turned into a search party.
So they were outside with babies and blankets trying to look for their sister, their daughter. Her parents are elderly. The brothers and the brother-in-law were out knocking on doors, giving out flyers. He had no interest in helping.
The fucking husband has no interest in searching.
He's not participating. He doesn't give a shit. He's
I
in
said,
bed.
what in the fucking
He's like-
Scott Peterson of it all?
He's like, finally, they all left my house in peace and quiet and go
I
to
know,
sleep.
but it's like, why aren't you faking it? Why
I
aren't
don't
you
know.
pretending to give a shit?
But that's also, isn't that sort of, I'm not trying to diagnose anyone, but isn't that part of like, if you're a sociopath, you feel nothing?
I guess.
Like, isn't that sometimes
I
part
mean,
of it?
and I guess his story is going to be that she ran off, so fuck her. Like, why are you guys all worried? Like, she ran off.
But then can you give a shit about your kid?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Even if fuck her is right, which is wrong,
Mhm.
can you give a shit about your kid? Thanks.
Yeah.
So it's January 11th, 2021, 4 days missing. And here's where we meet Billy Little.
I love Billy Little. He also cannot keep his emotions in check.
I know, the poor guy.
Everyone's sobbing.
Like, everyone has just been through it. So he's a lawyer, and he's a former criminal defense investigator for the Navy. Remember, Maya and her husband work for the Navy.
Yes.
So his wife, Lou, heard about Maya's case, and Billy Little says, well, when someone needs help, you just help them. Like, I mean, right? And I'm like, you know what? You'd think so, Billy.
I know.
You'd think so.
Because Billy's like, I'm good at one thing. Let me put it to use. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, I just love that sort of like, I'm sorry, why wouldn't I help? Like, wouldn't you help? And I'm like, you know what, Billy? I feel you, but I'm also disappointed on a daily basis. So you'd think it's that easy. But
well, he wants to go straight to the house. He wants to talk to Larry. He says, among other things, he found it odd that the husband hadn't been the one to call the police to report her missing.
Right.
Of course. Because even if she had run off, you would still report her missing to like find out what's going on.
Right. But the thing is, we learned that Larry actually discouraged the family from calling 911.
I mean, like, it's just like, well,
And Billy comes in hot. He has so much information for us because he's also like, oh yeah, I'm here to confirm that the cops didn't give a shit. Like they were not actively investigating the case.
Yes.
Oh my God. So Billy, the lawyer, goes over to the house. He flashes his Navy badge or whatever, and Larry lets him right in. So remember, the house was like freezing cold.
Yes.
When the family went. So now it's like 2 or 3 days later, and Billy, the lawyer's there, and Billy's like, here's what's weird. Again, it was like supposed to be like Southern California cold out.
Yeah,
like
it is
50.
January.
Yeah.
Like it's cold.
Just like Mary, Chris, and Richard, he noticed something strange.
Most of the windows in the house were open. It was clear he was trying to air the house out.
Every window in the house is open.
He
Every
was
single one.
airing out the house. So he had the AC on a couple days ago to like preserve the body. And now he's got the windows open to air it out.
Oh my God. So Larry's whole thing is we had a fight. And Billy's like, interesting. I have about 40 follow-up questions.
Which is kind of amazing because Billy's not a cop and he doesn't have a warrant, but Larry's just letting him traipse around and like look for everything. He's looking for signs that would indicate domestic violence. And he goes up to the bedroom and he sees a hole next to the door handle. So he's saying that like this is the area of the doorknob that you would like punch in, the area of the door that you would break to get into a locked door. The idea being that maybe Maya had locked herself in.
Maybe Maya really was in that bedroom for a time.
Yes, and he broke in there to get her out or to get to her.
Did you catch this? Because Billy says, because like the hole, he's talking about like the hole in the door, and he goes, it felt new, it felt wet. And I'm like, is that true? Do our newly punched holes feel wet?
I think he's saying he would like that Larry had crudely spackled it over. He's saying he was trying to hide it as though there wasn't a hole in the door.
It's been a real. I'm moving today. I watched this at 4:30 in the morning before the movers came.
And on top of that, I was raised by lesbians, so I know all about spackle. I know how to spackle a hole in a wall. Can you believe that that's something I can do?
Spackle?
I know. My mom once, there was a time that we...
Also, I'm moving. I know about spackle, too. I had to make the old place look decent.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I know how if we had to.
Do you know, I was like, wait, a newly punched hole in the wall is wet? That's where I was today. Thank you so much for bringing me on the right track.
Listen, fam, I got to tell you, like, we just finished our Denver and Chicago shows, and they were so wonderful. We got stranded in Chicago.
I got altitude sickness in Denver.
You got altitude. She was puking from altitude sickness in Denver. It's been a wonderful but rough couple of days.
It's just been exhausting.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it's not good.
I'd like to say hello to Denver and Chicago. Thank you for treating us so nicely.
But also, there's another hole in the wall.
Inside the bedroom, Little says he noticed another hole on the wall that also appeaed to have been recently repaired.
That would have been too high for Maya to punch because she was small, right? And I said, Larry, what about this hole? And he said, oh yeah, she got mad and punched that too.
And they say it was punched too high for Maya to have been able to reach.
Because she's 5'2".
Yeah, Larry did this.
But Larry blames it on Maya.
Right.
And what he's trying to do here, and Billy is not buying it for a second, and neither am I, and neither are you. Larry's trying to
what if I was like, whoa?
Well, I'd quit. I'd say, bye.
Mary Chris, that is not fucking happening. No.
But what Larry is doing is he's trying to make Maya look like this super violent person. And she's just not. Like, it's not, I know the whole thing, like, you don't know what happens behind closed doors, but like, no, like, Larry's the perpetrator here. Maya is not some violent person. Give me a break.
Billy says, like, I left the house thinking, like, Larry killed her and we have to figure out what he did and what he had done with the body. But he was also like, but I'm also could maybe be wrong. Like,
He's
he's not
He's
wrong.
not.
He's not wrong. And thank fucking God for him. Thank God for this like team of women that Maya was friends with at work who just like loved her so much that this woman went to her husband who was able to finagle his way into the house and figure all this shit out.
I know. This is why women are amazing. I don't know how many times I have to say it.
And Billy's not done. He canvasses the neighborhood to see if anything suspicious was caught on camera that night in the neighborhood. And like, that's the thing about these kind of nice neighborhoods. They all have security cameras.
And this isn't a case from the 90s where it's like, back then the technology was blah, blah, blah. This was 2021. So like everyone has a Ring camera.
Yes.
Like they all have that stuff.
But Billy is saying, I knew if there was anything, we had to get it quickly. Like we had to get it right now.
And he does. So Billy gets some information.
Yeah.
A neighbor had, like on their security camera or whatever,
Yeah.
had audio of Maya's kids playing in the backyard at like 10:30 at night on a school night. And remember, it was cold out.
I mean, this alone is bone chilling.
And it's the last night that Maya was heard from.
It's the night that Maya went missing, and another camera in the neighborhood.
Another camera recorded Larry backing their Lexus into the garage at 5:58 a.m. the next morning.
So you can't see what's going on, but you can see it going in the garage.
Larry then leaves the house at 6:45 a.m. and doesn't return home for almost 11 and a half hours.
It doesn't return for 11 and a half hours.
Yeah, no. That's not going to work for me.
So, like, the kids playing in the backyard at 10:30, there's more information on that we'll get in a second.
Yes.
Then, like, early the next morning, Larry leaves and is gone for, like, a full 12 hours.
And he does that thing. We've seen this before where they back into the garage so you don't know what is getting put in the car.
Yes.
We've seen this before.
I mean, that was Scott Peterson. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah. And also, so Billy the lawyer isn't giving up. He's getting emotional.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm doing this for the family. And he says, it's not in me to quit, so I don't.
I'm
like, come on.
I mean, we need, like, I just wish he was a woman so we could say, let the women do the work.
I know.
Let the Billies do the work.
But also, like, cops, can you help a little bit?
I mean, why do citizens have to be doing this because the cops aren't taking it seriously?
You have a lawyer from the Navy
I know.
telling you what's what. And you're just ignoring. Also, you have Mary Chris who knows her sister. Listen to her.
I mean, shouldn't it be a red flag when every member of the family is like, there's no way she would leave. There's no way she wouldn't be. And the only person saying, you're right, cops don't look for her is the fucking husband. Also,
do the math. Isn't it usually the husband?
I was just going to say, if you found Maya's body, the first person protocol tells you to look at is the husband.
Because you start close and you work.
My God.
Give me a break. I hate these cops so much.
But wait, now we get to meet Elena Vaughn.
Yeah.
She's an attorney and a true crime author. She drives a Tesla with the license plate that says true crime on it.
And also like a thing around it that says like the #1 true crime lawyer.
I know. Do you hate her?
I think it's a little bit in poor taste.
I think so too.
The license plate. I'm not a fan of the license plate and the whole. She gives us some good information, but it's fucking tacky. I'm gonna say it.
She's the one. She tells us that she wanted to get involved immediately as soon as she saw the case. Maya was such a vibrant person, and she says like she was a young woman out there living her life. Like fuck this, let's find her.
Right. Of course, she's shocked. We all are.
Yeah.
Like I get it. So. Maya has been missing for 2 weeks. And finally, after 2 weeks, the cops searched the house officially.
Now, 2 weeks later.
Do you know what he could have been doing for those 2 weeks?
Of course. I mean, like, this is a guy who was, like, preserving the body and then, like, airing the house out. This guy's cleaned up.
And what they did find was that Larry had a lot of firearms. They seized 2 Glock handguns, a rifle, and a shotgun. And they found that he was in possession of an illegal assault weapon.
And they found that he was in possession of an illegal assault rifle. And we see this picture from Larry's cell phone that they downloaded. That's like just a picture of all of his weapons laid out all over the place.
It's like 50 guns in one room. It's too many guns and too many illegal assault rifles.
And thank God they fucking seized them. Then 3 days later, they come back and take the navigation system from the car.
Yeah.
This is going to prove to be very important.
So Larry, of course, has hired a lawyer.
And he stops communicating with the cops. Now, I think about this all the time. Like, I was watching this again on the flight back from Chicago, which was delayed for a day and a half. And I was thinking, if my flight landed and my phone buzzed and I saw Steve and Daisy, God forbid, have been murdered, would my first call be to an attorney? Probably.
Oh, shit.
Only because of what I do for a living.
No,
you know what I mean?
of course.
I think my first call would be to a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, you call Zara for anything anyway.
I know.
It doesn't take much for you to call a lawyer.
Zara?
Can we be honest about
Steve
this?
in the other room. You know she charges for that by the hour.
And you're like, whatever. That person was rude to me. Zara! So let's talk about all the red flags.
Yeah.
We learned that they started really becoming, I mean, remember, they were married for 10 years before they started a family, right? So
Yes.
they've been together for a long time.
They were a family when they were married without kids.
Yes.
I'm looking at my friend Jillian, who has the same situation.
Yes. You can be a family without children, everybody. I'm living it. It's
I
really
know.
fun.
I'm just saying, you are a family.
I am a family.
Yes.
So sorry.
Did I throw you off?
You totally threw me off. The major red flag started in 2020. We learned from the work besties.
Yes.
But I can't believe these were the only red flags because they've been together for so long. But I'm also not saying that it was anyone's job to pick them up. I'm just saying.
The red flags from from Maya's side, like what she was doing, was basically just disengaging with this guy that she wasn't attracted to anymore and didn't want to be married to.
Well, because you grow a lot from when you're 18 to 28, you know?
And Larry's a murderer.
He's a murderer.
So imagine that energy before he actually commits the murder. And Mary Chris, the sister, is telling us Larry was calling everyone in their family, trying to get them to intervene.
Larry was complaining that Maya was having a midlife crisis.
And he's like, well, she's been going out with her friends more often, and she has a lot of single friends.
But my sister is saying, it's not me, it's Larry.
She says that Larry was trying to get them to help with their issues. And I'm like, no, they're his issues.
Right.
They're
because
only his issues.
Larry's not saying she's pulling away, she doesn't love me anymore. He's saying she's having a midlife fucking crisis. She's going out with her friends too much. She suddenly has a ton of single friends.
Yeah.
She's drinking.
She's not focusing on him.
Exactly.
It's his shit.
And do you know how thrilled I would be if Steve was like, I made a friend today and we're going out for drinks
Bye!
tonight? I know.
Just saying, sometimes.
And I don't think that that's particularly unusual. I think that most people want to support their spouse in that way.
Of course, having alone time is great, but also having other interests outside of the two of you is also important for who you are as a human being.
Exactly.
You shouldn't want to stifle that.
No, and Claudia, the friend who's no glass ceiling around this one.
Yeah, I love it.
She was like, I spent a lot of time with them, with Larry and Maya, and he wouldn't even engage with the friends when they were there. He would just stand off to the side and watch her.
She said observing.
Yes.
He would always be observing.
He had to always be completely in control.
And then it gets to...
This is insane.
Now he's starting to act it out. Because those red flags... Maya has been dealing with this their entire relationship.
Yeah.
That's just... And it slowly but surely, this is what her life has been.
It's just I know that there's so much that I don't know here, but I'm trying to think from Larry's perspective. The other way to be about this is to say, I have this beautiful woman who's ambitious, has all these great friends.
How lucky.
She's advancing at work. She gave me these 3 gorgeous kids. And now she's sort of marriages, you got to play the long game, everybody. There are years that you're really close, and there are years that you're a little bit less close. There are years that you're really in love, and there are years that you just kind of are hanging out with your friend. And that's what, at least for me, that's what a marriage is. And if you give a marriage a freedom to be all of those things, then that's longevity for you.
Right.
Just imagine if he could have looked at her and been like, she's pulling away a little bit right now, and I'm going to support it because she's happy and I love her and I'm lucky to be with her.
Well, because they should, hopefully would have been having conversations together about this instead of just this adversarial kind of relationship, which is what it became. Because remember, these abusive people, he didn't start, tracking her phone.
Right.
It doesn't start like that.
Right.
So this is 10, 12 years of this slow burn.
Claudia recalls an instance when Larry couldn't get a hold of Maya at work.
You know when somebody might be agitated or you overhear their voice? I did hear, where are you? It takes you this long to get from your car to your office. Who were you talking to?
9:00 a.m., the desk phone would start ringing. And if she didn't answer until 9:03, he would say to her, I know exactly how long it's supposed to take for you to get from your car to your phone.
Where were you?
Where were you and who you were talking to?
And she's like, I was peeing.
Or
what? I grabbed breakfast.
Exactly.
Or also, fuck you. And the thing is, she's not doing anything wrong. She's not cheating. She's an amazing present mother. He's being crazy. The only thing she's doing is growing.
Exactly.
She's strong. She's social. She's her own person. Larry cannot fucking handle it.
We learned that he starts monitoring her spending.
Yeah.
He starts getting access and passwords to all of her social media accounts.
So she again, there's no privacy whatsoever. She doesn't have anything that's hers.
Yes.
She doesn't have an interest that's hers, an account, a password that's hers.
I can't imagine.
Come on. And now then he starts accusing her of cheating him with with several men at work.
Because this is such a big deal because she loves her job. She's ambitious at her job. She works for the Navy, and we are told that Larry knows that if he accuses her her of sleeping with a married man that she works with, she will get fired.
So he's sabotaging her job, and now
Exactly.
he's like paranoid and obsessed.
And showing her that he can take anything away from her.
She's amazing. She should be with someone else, Larry.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I agree. I know where that's coming from because you look at her and you're like, who she is as a person.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, oh my God, like, why are you not cheating on him? Like, you should be cheating on him. Like, you should not be with him. But
Yeah.
like, fuck you, Larry.
So, by the way, NCIS, who she works for, launches an investigation. They find no evidence of an affair.
Right.
Larry becomes more fixated on the idea that she's cheating.
He tells all of Maya's family, she's cheating, she's sinful, help me get her back on the Christian religious way, and starts forcing her to go to church.
And he starts forcing her to go to church.
I mean,
of all of this, I don't know why that feels like the most egregious to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's forcing her to go to a place. It's forcing, like, I mean,
and
I
it's
know
forcing beliefs on her.
which I think
It's
that she
like-
comes from this, like a religious family or whatever, but like that was so aggressive to me.
And also that he's branching out. So he's like forcing her to go to this church and then like quoting scary Bible quotes to her family
But
about
the Bible quotes are about the murder of women who cheat.
Right.
It's about like the sanctioning of killing women who cheat. As quoted from the Bible, we are told from 48 Hours.
So-
I did not look this up. I don't know if that's really true, but that was really scary to me.
So he would have these like really scary quotes and then be like, I don't know, Mary Chris, the devil's really tempting me. And so the family is scared for her. They're
Yes.
warning Maya. And Maya says, you know what? Like I think I'm ready to leave. I think I'm ready to start making these plans.
Yes.
They fully support her. Now, Larry gets wind of this. Now, suddenly, this God-fearing Christian
This is wild.
turns to what?
By the fall of 2020, Billy Little says Larry was growing increasingly desperate to hold on to Maya.
And so what does he do? He goes to witchcraft. There are people on the internet that'll sell you for $5, you know, how to make a spell that will get her to be attracted to you, to bind your marriage in blood.
To witchcraft.
Well, what he thinks is witchcraft. It's really a scammer on
Our resident
Etsy.
witch is gonna school us all.
I resent the shit out of this because this is not witchcraft. It's like at best a scammer on Etsy
Yes.
or Reddit or like Craigslist.
Because we're told there are people on the internet who will sell you a spell for $5 that will get her to be attracted to you.
Like, that's
Do you know how
impossible.
much money I would have spent in high school if that was a real thing?
It's not witchcraft. It's not how it works. We
How
don't
did
have time
Patrick
for
go
this.
broke? He's been sending $5 spell cards to the Philippine
I mean,
residents,
to the
Beverly Hills, California.
And like these it's just like so shitty. And it's also like these spellcasters on Etsy or whatever, like
Yeah.
you're also perpetuating this abuse, like to promise, because what he wants to do is, quote, bind his marriage in blood.
Yeah.
So this spellcaster on the internet who's just taking this guy for a ride and taking
Yes.
his money is also putting their partner in danger.
Because we see, like, Larry learns on the internet how to create a blood altar.
Like, but from this scammer.
Yes.
Like, this scammer is like, so you do this and you get this and you do this,
And
because it's not real.
But we see an actual picture of
I
this
know.
altar, and it's a photo of the two of them with candles, and it's all covered in blood. And my question is, whose blood is that?
I know.
Is it Larry's? Is it fake blood? Is it blood of an animal that she sent it? Like,
I think it's his.
I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't understand. I truly don't understand how people get this obsessed.
I
don't
know.
even know if that's the right word.
Well, it's also, remember, it's been years in the making.
Yeah.
It's been like 15 years of him just really like growing into this obsession. But also, he contacted numerous, quote, spellcasters.
Well, and he reviews one online.
Leaving them reviews.
I know. He says,
And he writes of this spellcaster, she is kind, professional, and courteous. My casting has not yet manifested, but I'm really hoping and counting on it. Leaving a review like one would leave on Yelp for a food order.
Like it's an Uber ride. They're like, 5 stars. Good job, spellcaster.
my casting has not yet manifested, but I'm really hoping and counting on it. Like,
Girl, then
it's-
why are you leaving a 5-star review if it didn't work?
well, but also they're saying like he's so dumb, he doesn't understand that this is all going to point back. This is all evidence of his obsession with her.
Well, much like real witchcraft, whatever you put out there comes back times 3, you idiot! You piece of shit. Like a spellcaster on Etsy, give me a break. Give me a break.
I know.
And like, why isn't this being tracked better? Where is the spellcaster who's encouraging this other rando on the
I
internet
was
to be
gonna say,
abusive
like,
to their like what?
Hashtag regulate the witches.
Like, well,
regulate the witches.
I mean, you can
Remember
try.
the one that we, I know. Oh my God. Remember the one that we did where that lady was gatekeeping Wicca? She's like,
Yeah, she's
in
like-
order to be a Wiccan, you have to go through me.
like, please. She was the one where it was like, well, I'm the high priestess of this town, so I can tell you if you're a real witch or not. And it's like, I know many witches who would disagree.
Yeah.
Please. So, but even Billy the lawyer is like, this, like, think about how scary this is, that he's so detached from what he's actually doing, that he's leaving this review like it's Yelp or Uber, and he goes, oh, you got 5 stars. Nice job, spellcaster. I'm like, nice one, Billy.
My apostrophe cast hasn't worked yet. Oh, my God.
But still 5 stars, because I'm hopeful.
I know.
It hasn't worked yet. It's not real.
But then we learned that by December 2020, Maya and Larry were sleeping in separate bedrooms.
Little says Maya found speakers in her room and confronted Larry. He admitted he had been playing subliminal messages while she slept.
What was that message that was coming out of those speakers under the bed?
It's right there.
No more men.
No more men.
Now, it says, we see the screen of it. It says silent, no more men. And the company or whatever is real subliminal, no more men.
What does that even, it's just saying, no more men.
Yeah, like, don't cheat. But I Googled it and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it doesn't exist. Or is this another scam? I think Larry's also the easiest scam guy. He's such a fucking heel. And he's such a mark.
He's such a
idiot. But I feel like that could just be like.
I love it when your 1950s gay man comes out. You're such a heel.
Such a heel. That's also like a wrestling term too. Like what?
Oh, we just gotta get snorted out of Heinz.
Oh, there you go. But I just think he's like, get your wife to love you. I feel like that's such an easy scam.
I'm gonna stop saying it because I know it's just gonna make people crazy. Why don't you just either like try to change and be a better person, or just move on? Why is the only option to some people murder? I really don't get it.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't get it, because I feel like you either get it or you don't, and either you're a murderer or you think like, you know what, this is gonna be painful, but we should just like go our separate ways.
Yeah.
Because when Maya sees that, she's like, okay, I'm not doing this. The subliminal message thing.
She tells her family, she's like, that is it. My marriage is definitely over.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm ready for divorce. And again, you have kids. Like, it's not an easy thing to make that decision. But she goes to her family. And of course, they're going to support her.
Yes.
And so January 7th, the day she went missing, she had met with a divorce lawyer. Like, the divorce was in motion, and then she goes missing, and the cops are doing nothing.
I know, and that's the other piece. Because you think Mary
Chris didn't tell them that?
I know.
The day they showed up?
Because we know statistically that people who leave their abusive spouses are at the most risk the day they're leaving.
And like, they have to try to leave like 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
And every time it gets more and more dangerous. It's not an easy it's not like ripping off a Band-Aid. No way. Also, who came up with that? Because that still hurts sometimes.
What?
Ripping off a Band-Aid.
I know. Oh my God.
How is that like a trope or whatever?
Try being a hairy son of a bitch like me. Jesus.
Also, you don't wear Band-Aids.
No.
I feel like you'd be like how your shoes are always untied. You'd be like, deal with it. I'm not wearing the fucking Band-Aid, Steve.
Now that I've been doing the book party, though, sometimes they'll tape the head mic to my beard. Woo! Ripping that off the face at the old end of the night.
Men are so weird.
I know. So now we learn that the neighbors heard gunshots the night that Maya, quote, disappeared, and they have the fucking audio.
It's coming from Larry and Maya's house.
Remember, Billy Little had tracked down that other home security footage that police agreed captured audio of the Millete kids playing in the backyard at 10:30 p.m.
And remember, Billy the lawyer got all this information. So he brings all of it to the cops, and he's like, here, you're not doing anything. I did all the work for you. Can you do something now?
Because Billy is saying, like, this all makes sense. He kills her, sends the kids outside to play because he's got to clean up and move the body. This is why the kids are out playing in the yard at 10:30.
God.
And so they don't tell us this here, but we're going to learn eventually that, like, the FBI analyzes the sound of the guns. We hear it. It sounds like a fucking gun. It's 3 shots, and it's inconclusive. It's like evidence that can't ever be used because the FBI can't determine that it's actually a gunshot blast.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I mean, I believe that he killed her. I don't know how, but like, I don't know, 3 loud gunshots in a small neighborhood like that does seem like it would draw attention.
Yeah, and it also, like, again, he absolutely killed her.
Yes.
We don't have any, because we'll get into this later, how, like, there's no body here.
Yeah.
And we also don't hear about a crime scene. So,
Right.
like, if he did it in the house, like, I don't know how he would clean all that up so quickly.
I didn't want to be,
know.
like, gruesome, but I had the same thought.
I don't know.
There would be a lot of blood. There'd be a lot of cleanup. The kids would have seen something.
So he did it. I just don't know. I don't know. So the cops are like, cool story, Billy the lawyer, like whatever. And now the family is now holding rallies in front of the police department to be like, can you please look at all of this information we're giving you?
They're doing anything they can to get the police to pay attention.
And then as this is happening, more photos from this guy's fucking phone come out.
Yeah.
And you know that photo that we were telling you about earlier where there was like 50 assault rifles in one room?
Yes.
Another photo, which had been redacted, featured the couple's 4-year-old son surrounded by weapons. Authorities retrieved more firearms from the Millete house.
I think that was a smart move by the police. It protects the children while they try to buy a little bit of time, but it also protects them if they have to go in and arrest him.
And Billy says, that was great because it, protects the kids in case, he's crazy and is going to harm them too. But it also protects the cops in case they have to go in there and arrest him.
Exactly.
Good. Whatever the reason, get the fucking guns out of the house.
Right.
The Susan Cox Powell situation of it all.
I know. And Shanann Watts.
Oh,
it feels
my
like Shanann Watts to me,
yes.
too. The backing up into the garage, didn't he do that, too?
I think so, yes.
God, these fucking pieces of shit.
I know.
So Larry finally is a person of interest, and by October 2021, they arrest Larry.
Yeah.
And everyone, the family's relieved, but also sad, because now it's a murder investigation. It's just a nightmare.
Even, Mary Chris says to us at the top of the episode, I have hope that maybe she actually is out there alive.
Right.
And I think the arrest of Larry, kind of makes people have to deal with the fact that she's probably dead and was murdered by this fucking piece of shit.
It's like that thing, we talk about this a lot. It's like you're begging the cops to do something, and then they do, and then you get the worst news possible. So you're just your emotions are just all over the place.
It's awful. And then the San Diego County District Attorney lays out the evidence at a press conference, and she says in situations like this, there's almost always a triggering event. And the triggering event in this situation was that call that Maya made to the divorce attorney.
Yeah, trying to leave.
Exactly.
Think about what she's saying. The triggering event is this woman trying to get safe and get away from the abusive partner.
Because they say that call was made at 3:48 and security cameras captured her arriving at the house at 4:42 p.m.
Yeah.
And there's no images of her leaving. So his story that she went hiking, obviously bullshit.
Right.
The only person to leave that house after 4:42 p.m. is him having backed the car into the fucking garage and then being gone for 12 hours.
Right. Now that they arrested him, we have more about the spells, because I guess they have his phone and his emails and shit.
They come across all the witchcraft shit and the DA goes, I've never had a case where that was involved.
Yeah. Because it's not fucking witchcraft. But it wasn't just to keep her faithful in a way with a lot of blood. That's not what it was.
So sick.
Larry sent this message to a website that claims to cast spells. Please punish May and incapacitate her enough so she can't leave the house. It's time to take the gloves off.
It was evidence, they say, of his unbalanced mindset and homicidal ideation.
He says, quote, it's time to take the gloves off. This is so fucking sick. And again, not witchcraft. But also, isn't witchcraft against your religious beliefs?
I know.
Am I insane?
No. And then the day Maya went missing, he sent, quote, countless emails to spellcasters saying, I think she wants me to snap. I'm shaken inside, ready to snap.
So blaming her.
That is a confession to what he's about to do. That's the day she went missing.
But also blaming her. You made me do this. No one can make you do anything.
Exactly.
Shut up. So Maya, now we're just learning, people are just looking back on conversations they had with Maya, and she had confided in a friend that Larry had been violent, one of her work besties, that he had choked her, and that it had been bad. But again, it's all behind closed doors.
Well, because Mary Chris says, the choking incident where she passed out, I only heard about that from a friend because Maya didn't want to tell the family.
Why would, it's hard to say things out loud sometimes.
Right, because if you tell your family that your spouse is abusing you, then you have to leave.
Or they'll force you to leave, and then you'll have to say, I can't, I'm not ready, I'm scared, I'm this. It's just too many people get involved.
Exactly.
And so someone puts it really well where she'd say very small things to different people, but never to the same person. So no one had the full picture. Someone would have one story and another person would have another story. And Mary Chris isn't talking to the work bestie. Why would she?
Right. And so this is Professor Evelyn. She's a sociology professor at the University of San Diego. And she says, I had to really slow down and think about this.
The signs of domestic abuse can be so hard to identify because we as a society are unable to distinguish the line that divides that kind of zealous, passionate love from controlling behavior.
Evelyn, it really spoke to me because she's saying that we love that kind of passionate love where they're screaming and that is just as easily classified as abusive behavior.
No, oh my God, 100%.
You know?
And also little things that I think are just coming out more because the world is changing and people are being more vocal about it. Him being obsessed and tracking her financials, that's abuse too.
And demanding her passwords to her social media account.
That's abuse.
No.
Come on.
Yeah.
But Dr. Evelyn says that Larry weaponized her work, her children, her family, her friends, her religion.
weaponizing of the work. I mean, obviously, like the kids, the family, that's all fucking terrible. But it was the weaponizing of the work that really got me.
Yeah.
Because it was like it was like showing that he had control outside of just the family unit. That he could destroy her life with a lie and people would believe him.
Right.
And this like in this one thing that she loved and was thriving at. You know what I mean?
And I think that was his first attempt at trying to like make her dependent on him.
Yes.
Only like it didn't work. The investigation happened and obviously she wasn't cheating.
Right.
So then he goes online and goes
Exactly.
to Craigslist to find a spellcaster to make her get into an accident or get harmed in some way.
Yes.
Where she would have to be dependent on him. Like that is so fucking sick.
That is
That is
insane.
so sick.
So now with Larry behind bars, like awaiting his trial, the family continues to search for Maya's body. And now that they have the information from the car's navigation system, they can sort of like maybe start to like pinpoint places to look. So we learn
Somewhere 2.5 hours away from his house, Larry had entered his address to find his way back home. That information was enough to center the searches on places Larry was familiar with, like this desert area where he and Maya had gone hiking.
So they're saying that he went somewhere 2.5 hours away to probably dispose of the body.
Right.
And so now they've got like a 2-mile radius from Larry and Maya's house to search.
And there was a desert area just 2.5 hours away that he was familiar with because he and Maya would go hiking there. We've seen videos of her
remember,
there.
this is what I was saying before. She went, like, is he trying to place a GPS? Like, it makes sense that they would be there or whatever.
So, like, it's a place he knows. It's a place he's familiar with. I'm
Yes.
sure they would go hiking and he'd be, like, scoping the place out because he's evil.
And, like, they have all these volunteers out there just, like, combing the area. They're, like, firefighters who specialize in locating bodies. People who are just, like...
Total strangers who saw it on the
like,
news.
We don't know her, but we just couldn't live with the idea that she doesn't have closure.
It's things like this that just totally, like, make my emotions go crazy because it is the saddest thing. But there is something really beautiful to someone, like, literally pulling over and being like, what can I do? How can I help? Like, there's something
I'm telling you, like, when Daisy was gone for that 90 seconds on the beach in Hawaii, and, like, the mothers didn't even... All they said was, how old is she and what is she wearing?
They were like, hold my rosé. I'm going to help.
100.
Like,
I mean...
I love that.
And, like, 2 of them stayed with me in case I had a heart attack because I think they thought I was going to.
Sure.
Truly.
Like, I just think that's so beautiful, but, like, that beautiful thing has to happen because something evil and tragic did.
I know.
So my emotions don't really know what to do.
So they don't find anything.
Yeah.
And, like, Richard, Mary Chris's husband, says, like, at this point, we're, like, looking for clothing or bone. Like, it's very sad.
So sad. But, like, meanwhile, Larry has been arrested for Maya's murder and also illegal possession of an assault weapon.
Larry Millete has been behind bars since his arrest in October 2021, awaiting trial.
And at this time would like to enter a plea of not guilty.
He pled not guilty to charges of murder and illegal possession of an assault weapon. If convicted, Larry could face up to 25 years to life in prison.
If he's convicted, he could face up to 25 years to life in prison. Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
And his story is Maya left on her own. She was a terrible mother. She ditched her kids. She ditched her family, her friends, her job, everything. And everyone all together now is like, sure, Jan, like you fucking murderer.
I mean,
No, she wouldn't.
Never happens.
Never.
This is never what happened. And I don't understand why the cops are like, that should be its own red flag.
Yes.
If a husband is saying she was a terrible wife, she left me, she left my kids, she's just out there living that should tell you he's fucking lying.
Just ask a question.
Exactly.
Especially when you have her entire family saying like, no, this is not what happened. Like,
but I just think there's things you could do. Like, I think that, like, you get on her social media and you say, like, hey, Maya, it's the local cops. You don't have to tell us, like, where you are, but you have to prove that you're alive and okay, and we'll leave you alone.
Also,
you know
like,
what I mean?
do you have a message for your kids you'd like us to relay to you?
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, and then if they don't respond within 3 days, then, like, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. Like,
I don't know.
There are just ways of being able to say that, like, that's bullshit.
It's bullshit. Ask a fucking question,
Yeah.
cops. Because now Billy the lawyer, because the cops are saying there's no body, so what do you expect us to do? And
Right.
Billy the lawyer is like, I don't care that there isn't a body. You can't just get away with murder because you're good at hiding a body.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not gonna subscribe to that, and I agree.
Right.
And now Larry's shitty lawyer is dragging Maya's name through the mud.
They believed that she had this wild lifestyle, that she was out there having affairs, she's dating different men off the internet, that she's drinking excessively, that she's become this completely different person. And so they're pointing to third-party culpability. If she's harmed, it was somebody else.
Yeah, she's probably off partying. You know, like that thing that her friends and family never saw her do,
Right,
really?
exactly. And then, but then she's like, but also we have to entertain the idea that she's still alive.
And I also, like,
how does this person sleep at night?
Like, this is the thing. I know that defense lawyers are important.
Of course.
I want them to exist. I think they're amazing. But like, again, is there another defense you can use that's not dragging this poor woman's name through the mud in front of her kids?
Right.
Like, is there another? You can defend. We need criminal defense lawyers.
Yes.
I know it, but can you do it in a way that's not shitty like this?
Right.
Was this the only option?
I mean,
it couldn't have been,
I
right?
know. Well, and like, give me any evidence of this. Give me one picture of her out partying with her friends.
Right.
Give me anything. Because everyone says Maya worked and she was with her kids. When she
Right.
wasn't working, she was with, you know what I mean?
And the investigation that she was cheating came up empty. So like there's actually definitive proof that she wasn't living this lifestyle.
Exactly. And then we learn that not long after the disappearance, Larry cut off contact between the kids and Maya's family.
I mean, another enormous red flag.
But like how is that making you look less guilty?
Right.
You know?
And they were finally able to see Maya's family when Larry was in custody in November of 2021.
But the kids are living with Larry's parents in Larry and Maya's house.
Who are not with us for the program.
Exactly. And you can only imagine what they're filling those kids' heads with during the day.
And now Maya's family, Mary, Chris, they're begging for custody or really, really fighting to see them more. And they see them every other Saturday as of that airing.
I mean, it's like this is their mother's family. And I know that we're trying to reason with an insane person because he's the killer.
I know.
But the all that they have left of their mom are these people.
I know.
You know?
I know. And they were definitely the fun family.
Yeah.
They were definitely the one, I would want to hang out with them instead of stupid Larry.
Oh, Richard, I would go and be raised by Richard and Mary Chris today if they would have to.
100%.
I would leave my own family to go be raised by them.
But it ends there's no movement in the case.
I know.
And we end on a song that Maya had written and she's singing it. And the lyrics are, tomorrow I'll be far away and you'll get over me. It's just oh my God.
And we don't know what happened to Larry. Has the trial not happened yet?
I have some information.
Okay, tell me everything.
So first, there's an update. If you have any information, 619-691-5139. So as of May 2023, the update is that the judge is upholding the protective order. So Larry can only send letters to his kids, and then they're read by a court professional, so that he can't just talk to them without any kind of supervision.
Unfettered, yeah.
He will stand trial, and it's scheduled for October of this year, and he has another hearing this month in July of 2023.
And any word on where the kids are?
With his parents, but Maya's family is getting more and more rights with custody. They're seeing them more often.
God.
I know. But he's going to stand trial October 2023 if it doesn't get delayed. But the judge was you're fucking going on trial.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, girl, we did, 48 hours what?
Searching for Maya Millete.
Fam, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, tomorrow night, we are in Seattle at the Neptune. I'll be in Portland on the 10th for my sold-out book party show. And then TCO is at the Palace in LA on August 11th. New York City on the 26th of August with our Broadway dancers. And then Obsessed Fest in Dallas, October 20th and the 22nd. You know you want to come to that. A full weekend of drag queens and true crime content and making new friends and drinking and not drinking. There's a whole sober community that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
If you're thinking of coming alone, don't be afraid. Everybody made such amazing friends this year. We're doing solo traveler meetups.
Yeah, you're never alone at a TCO show.
No, we're doing your Taylor Swift sing-along and karaoke. The garbage ball on Saturday night after the TCO live show. It's basically a Obsessed Network prom.
Is it prom?
You don't have to get dressed up. Just come. We're going to dance. We're going to play. Videos are going to be playing. There's going to be Taylor Swift and Beyonce. And it's
are they both coming?
Yeah, they're both coming. No, Taylor Swift and Beyonce are not coming. Fam, if you buy a ticket to Obsessed Fest, you get my book for free. We're going to send it to you. Right. As long as you get your tickets before September 1st, you will hopefully have your book in time to bring it to Obsessed Fest.
Okay, fantastic.
For me to sign.
Okay, great.
What are we doing next, girl?
We are doing Who Killed Angie Dodge, Keith Morrison Investigates.
Oh, we're back to good old Keith.
We haven't seen Keith in a long time, so we are back.
Remember when Keith duetted us while we were at Obsessed Fest last year?
I think about it all the time.
My God.
Keith.
I know.
All
right, fam, stay tuned for the trailer for that, and then our funny and hilarious outtakes. And Maya, we love you.
We love you, Maya, and Mary Chris and your whole family, and fuck you, Larry. Bye.
Bye.
When a beloved teenager, Angie Dodge, is found murdered in her own home, her mother embarks on a mission to hunt down the killer and the truth.
I'm just driven to put a face to this monster.
A confession leads to a conviction.
You are absolutely convinced that you've got the right guy.
There is no doubt.
But the case is far from closed. When hours of interrogation tapes are made public,
I wasn't there.
they ignite a firestorm of controversy.
Wow, this guy really was set up.
They took it too far. They broke his brain.
The person who killed Angie Dodge is still out there.
It's okay to be nosy-ish as a neighbor. You know what I mean? God, I bet you would hate living in a neighborhood like that.
Aww.
I just feel like you want your privacy.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I have no need for privacy.
No, you don't.
No.
You hate privacy.
Please pay attention to me.
Yeah,
I guess is what we're saying. If you see me, it's okay to clap if you see me on the street. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely hate privacy.
Like
it makes you mad.
Why is nobody looking into my business?
You take it as a personal insult. It's a personal attack. You have a minute of privacy.
I don't like that.
What is
I remember the first time you and I ever took a trip together to CrimeCon the first year. We went out for a fancy dinner the first night.
Yeah.
And the second night I was like, what are we doing? And you're like, I'm going to my room to have some alone time because I've been around people for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, this does not.
And then I was like,
compete for me.
but I'll see you for dinner. And you were like, oh.
I'll miss you.
But you were
I'll
like,
miss you.
Bye. And
Bye.
as I'm closing the door, I'm like,
bye.
I'm like,
Bye.
this isn't being rude. I love you, but I need to recharge or else I'm not going to dinner.
I'm fully charged still.
Yeah, no.
I'm still
not.
fully
See ya,
charged.
bye.
Okay, love you.
This isn't an insult. This is not an attack on you. This is a me thing.
Directly what
That's
actually
exactly
happened.
what happened. But I made it to dinner.
You did.
Because I took that hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.